Quick look at some of the garden here. Here's my butterfly ginger, Musa Bajou. Very unorganized bed of lettuce and garlic and spinach in there. This is a random apple stick that I stuck in the pot last year and just left it there, and it rooted and started growing again with some Landseer. Some potatoes, onions, collards. There's beets and carrots over here. Mostly green onions. I got some beans. I think that was a cabbage at some point, but it's still kind of growing. French sorrel about the flower. Stuff's got a nice lemony, tangy flavor. I like to put it in a lot of cooked greens and soups and salads. Peas, snow peas, I believe. Still no blooms on these guys yet. I don't know how much longer they're gonna last with the heat coming along. This is mostly an asparagus bed. I have to tie it up. I planted some spinach a little late just to see what would happen, but it's hard to keep it completely weeded. A little chaotic. Some leeks. These are from the grocery store. A lot of these are actually from the grocery store, at least the green onions and leeks, and cut the bottoms off. The carrots were started from seeds from the grocery store, but I got some actual fancy red carrots and fancy dandelions and stuff planted in here. It's hard to keep the chickens out. But I got different types of onions and dandelions. A little bit's coming up. I need to get some kind of better barrier. This is my experimental bed. Sunchokes. This is a weed. I've just been using it as chop and drop. I think it's a curly dock or some kind of dock. Not exactly sure. Some dandelions. I let them grow to break up the soil, and I eat the leaves. Some random squashes, some chicory. Been eating the chicory and dandelion together. Have a similar flavor and texture. And some blackberry. This is one of my taros I planted. Only one's coming up. This is Taro esculenta from the grocery store. And then these black ones are the Black Magic elephant ear. They're also Taro esculenta, and they are edible. They just don't really make a tuber. Got some tomato seedlings and a bunch of other random stuff coming up. Some strawberries over there. These potatoes over here were actually potatoes that I threw out and were starting to rot, and they just kind of started growing in the spring. This is my horseradish. Planted a thing from the grocery store, and they keep growing. I like to eat the leaves fresh in salads, and they just bloom, so I'm trying to get some seed. There's 2 of them in there. Some strawberries. These smaller ones here. This is the wild native Virginia strawberry, but they're intermixed with several other varieties. Got me some breakfast. Got some, this is a moringa tree that I overwintered, trying to get one larger. I had one in the ground, but it did not make it. Speaking of which, I got a lot of tropicals here. These are little passion fruits. I'll do those in another video, but this is one of my tropical passion vines I planted in the ground to experiment underneath this wisteria. I'm gonna use that as a chop and drop. That squirrel trap there, it's been squirrels kept raiding on my fruit and dropping the bird seeds, so I've been catching them and eating them. So here's a Fuyu persimmon. No flowers yet. More strawberries creeping along. This is another hero persimmon, I think. Some little buds gonna be starting there, it looks like. Gardenia, bush peony, This is a white Brugmansia, Angel's Trumpet, coming back. Couple different blackberries. Floki. Floki's doesn't like the neighbor dog. These are some wild blueberries I took cuttings from in the woods. And they're struggling, but they're surviving. There's two of them. Another gardenia bush. This is a Camellia sinensis Sochi. Not doing too well in this location. I've been neglecting them, but got some new growth on it this year finally. Some grape flowers. I don't remember all the different varieties. I was really bad at keeping track, but I've got two muscadines here. And then this is a sourish grape with thicker skin. Might do some kind of jelly or wine with it. Looks like I got some pests here I'm gonna have to take care of. Some plum trees. This is the Santa Rosa, I believe. It's got a little bit of fruit on it, not much, a little too much shade probably. This is another plum. It did not bloom yet this year. Witch hazel. Some extra Russian kales and taros I've been spreading. Raspberry. This is Devil's Walking Stick. I thought it died last year, but it's waking up. It's a native. It's got some pretty flowers, attracts pollinators. It's a good understory tree. This is one of my tiny pawpaws. This is the mango pawpaw. This is a Japanese maple I got for free, so just had to find a spot for it. Choke cherry that's been ravaged by deer. That's why its growth habits kind of messed up, and I just let it go. I think this is my Shenandoah pawpaw, and that is a wild one behind it that's creeping in. I don't know how that got there. Might have been from me. This is a native Clethra alnifolia. It's a native understory flowering shrub in the wet southeast area. They smell really nice. Here's another blueberry patch. This is a wild blueberry with some fruit. I got this guy from the woods behind my house. Planted these tiny ones from the Lowe's or something, little other blueberries, just to help with pollination. So here's my big leaf magnolia. As you can see, very large leaves, very pretty. This is a very slow going Stewartia. This is a native silky camellia. It's a really pretty, tall, very slow growing shrub, but it'll eventually take off, I hope. Rhododendron, this is beauty berries. I got propagated these from cuttings that I found in the woods. There's another beauty berry right there. Oak leaf hydrangea, native. This is a chestnut, chinkapin chestnut. It's a native, supposed to be a smaller version. I had two, but the other one didn't quite make it. These are just little rhododendrons and azaleas underneath these crepe myrtles here. These are other miscellaneous natives. One of these is a button bush. I believe it's this guy. And then these two are cuttings from the Clethra that I got. This is a butterfly ginger I stuck here. This is where the other chinkapin chestnut was that didn't quite make it. This is a green saw palmetto. The berries are medicinal and edible, but they taste horrible. If you can stomach them, that'd be good on you. Sable minor. This was supposed to be the silver saw palmetto, I think. It's not handling it too well. This one's suffered a lot from the winter 2 years ago. Got some needle palm doing well. This is a dwarf patio peach that I got at the grocery store, pretty cheap. It's $10, but I can need more peaches. This is one of those devil's walking sticks that's leafed out earlier, with some blackberry bushes. Planted some sunchokes right there in the corner.